Hello! In part 2 of the Mac, I travel from Macclesfield to where the canal joins the Trent and Mersey at Hardings Wood. Having spent a couple of days visiting friends, it's time to leave Macclesfield. I'm going past one of the 6 roving bridges on the canal.
I'm just north of Bosley Locks and I've never seen a canal so busy. In the last 5 minutes I've seen about 7 boats, so I guess the boats that set off coming up the lock flight this morning are now all going past that way. But actually there's quite a few boats going the same way as me as well. Yeah, just been incredibly busy. As you can see, it's raining. I've just passed Bridge 51 going south, so I'd really like to try and find somewhere to moor up for the night. I don't want to go too far because I really don't want to have to start going down the Bosley Lock flight tonight. That sounds like a Joni Mitchell song, doesn't it? Anyway, let's hope the rain stops and I can find somewhere.
Now I love these peculiar little gardens you see along the towpaths next to some of the long-term moorings. This one, at the top of Bosley Lock flight, has obviously been designed by someone very arty and crafty. I decided to fill up with water before descending the flight. The CRT and lockkeeper's station on the left. Anti-slip bridges, an innovative feature at the time, and stonemasons showing their craft.
Well, I've made it down the 12 locks of the Bosley Lock flight, which I managed to do in about 2 3/4 hours, which I think is pretty good going, really. According to my pedometer, I've walked about 4 miles in that time, which is all right. I mean, I was doing 6 to 7 doing the locks on the Huddersfield Canal. But yeah, I mean, you know, I did most of the locks on my own, and then some people behind caught up and gave me a bit of a hand. Some very nice people from a boat called Olympic, so thank you very much to them. And yeah, so here I am at the bottom in this rather lovely countryside. I think Congleton's about 4 miles from here, so I need to crack on and get some shopping.
This is the Dane Aqueduct, which is really close to the bottom lock. Almost unnoticeable from the boat, but worth having a look over the edge at the River Dane far below.
Hiya, hello there. Can you fit any more people in? Get in.
This fell, at over 1,000 feet, is known as the Cloud and looms over the whole area. Yet more dredgers, not working today because it's the weekend.
This part of the Macclesfield Canal between the bottom lock, Lock 12 of the Bosley flight, and Congleton is absolutely beautiful. It is so green, it is so lush, and it is so unbelievably quiet. I haven't even seen anybody using the towpath. It is just such a delight. Absolutely extraordinary countryside. It's beautiful, really beautiful.
And so I reach Congleton Wharf over this fine aqueduct, and it looks like a great spot to tie up for the night. The old warehouse is now apartments, with a lovely outlook over the wide basin. In the morning, I noticed an old lady shooting ducks and geese away from her door with a super soaker.
The Macclesfield Canal was designed by the great British engineer Thomas Telford. It was completed in 1831 and it was one of the very last canals to be built in Britain. In fact, it was the last narrow canal to be built in Britain. It took 5 years to build, which is quite a remarkable feat when you consider that it's 26 miles long, or 27 miles long, depending on where you measure it from. When you consider the steep embankments and the lock flight and everything, 5 years isn't really an awful long time to build a structure like that, especially considering it was all done with picks and shovels, really. This canal has a few unique features, one of which being the Milestones, which you see obviously every mile along the canal. These were buried during the Second World War, so that in case we were invaded by the Germans, they wouldn't know where they were. Seems rather strange to me. I'm sure they could have found out somehow. But yeah, they were reinstated in the 1980s, which is really nice.
Yes, and here's my little weekend retreat from when I've had enough of this boating malarkey.
Another characteristic of the Mac are the roving bridges. Sometimes they're called turnover bridges, or known to the locals as snake bridges. Now these were designed so that in the days when the boats were towed by a horse,
the horses could cross over the canal without being unhitched from the boats. Clever, eh? Well, I've been through the deepest lock in England at Tool Lane, and this must be the shallowest lock at Hall Green, all of a 6-inch drop. Actually, it's known as a stop lock, and this is where the Macclesfield Canal originally ended at Hall Green, 26¼ miles from Marple. The remaining 1.5 miles was a branch of the Trent and Mersey. The stop lock was to prevent one canal company stealing water from another.
Well, I'm baffled as to why they've got a ladder in the lock. Sorry?
I mean, it's not as if you have to climb down into your boat. That's it for today. Time to moor up. That evening, I caught this beautiful moonrise. No tricks, no filters. This is just how it was. Stunning. This is the aqueduct which takes it over the Trent and Mersey. Notice the difference in the watercolour. That's Red Bull Services on the right. The final stretch, and look how the iron ore colour has leached into the Macclesfield Canal. And that's it. I'm off the Mac and onto the Trent and Mersey. I'm taking a lefty, or turning to port in boating terms, towards Middlewich. The water is this colour because the iron ore which seeps out of the original nearby Hare Castle tunnel.